A few weeks ago, when the skills of William Wallace were first revealed, everybody was hyped. He seemed amazing because he was a proper smite damage field fighting commander to pair with arguably the single best commander in Rise of Kingdoms, Liu Che. But since his official in-game release, videos about William Wallace changed from this to this. Good but overhyped, I'm skipping William Wallace, I skipped William for Herman. So I started to think why recent videos about him are mostly negative. And since the account that I'm actively playing in KVK2 and I don't have access to him, I decided to watch a few videos about William Wallace to figure out what actually is wrong with him. First video I watched was from Bus Driver, and what I found while watching this video, it was a little bit shocking. So mine and Bus Driver's initial thoughts about William Wallace were pretty similar. As a standalone commander, he wasn't looking better than, let's say, CPO. However, he seemed like he would be the perfect pair for Liu Che due to being an open field commander and dealing smite damage. However, he reveals in this video that one of the most important skills of William Wallace is actually not working as we thought it would. The second portion of his third skill. Whenever this commander's troop deals smite damage with a damage factor that is greater than 1000, there is an 80% chance that the damage will be increased by 20%, and it goes all the way up to 40%. So this skill by itself was huge to pair him with Liu Che, because Liu Che was dealing very high amount of AoE smite damage, and if you use Liu Che primary, we thought you could increase that damage by 40% with an 80% chance. And that skill by itself was the only reason why I made this video and tried to explain why I think Liu Che primary would be better than William Wallace. But Bus Driver reveals in this video that this skill is not increasing the all AoE smite damage. Let's listen to what he says.
So this skill right here is very, very crucial to William Wallace, his third skill line in the north. Right, when it's maxed, whenever this commander's troops deals smite damage with a damage factor greater than 1000, there is an 80% chance that the damage will be increased by 20%. So what he actually found out was when you have Liu Che primary, AoE is hitting targets. Only one of the targets is actually taking 40% extra damage, right? So what that means is, if you can imagine, let's just say the damage factor is 1000, right? And you're hitting two targets, right? Instead of both targets taking 1000, it's going to lose 15% for every additional target hit. You'll actually be dealing 850 to two targets.
So from what I understood, the 15% AoE damage reduction basically destroys the synergy between Liu Che's active skill and William Wallace's third skill, which is quite devastating. And later in the video, he explains why he will keep using Alex with Liu Che rather than investing on William Wallace. You can find the video link in the description if you are curious about it. Also during his video, he mentions that Big Kane was the guy who found the issue with the third skill of William Wallace, so of course, I watched his video as well. The main idea behind his video was comparing the performance of both primaries, Liu Che William Wallace versus William Wallace Liu Che. And during his testing, he finds out the issue with the third skill and ultimately explains why it is not working as we all thought it would, and why it is better to use William Wallace as the primary due to that issue. So ultimately, William Wallace was not performing as good as we all thought he would, and he was also better as the primary commander due to his third skill, and he was skippable. But how? Under what circumstances you can actually skip William Wallace? And here's what I found out. If you're running one infantry march, and if it is either Liu Che CPO or Liu Che Alex, you're good, you can skip William Wallace to work on your other pairings. If you're running two infantry marches, it might be surprising, but you can still skip William Wallace if those marches are Liu Che Alex and Guan CPO. But if you are not a garrison leader, and most likely you are not, but you're using Gorgo with Liu Che in the field, then you can invest on William Wallace to have quote-unquote a little bit more proper open field smite damage pairing. Because if you are not a garrison leader, you are most likely using Gorgo with low investment, and Wallace will surely be a great upgrade to your lineup. But there was one last question. If William Wallace was not that great and skippable, how he was destroying pretty much anyone in 1v1 testing? Well, there are two main reasons for that, and that's why I keep saying 1v1 testings can and will always be deceiving. Since it's a 1v1 battle, Liu Che could fully benefit from the third skill of William Wallace, which will of course change the outcome of the fight drastically. And if you're not hitting multiple targets, then why not use William Wallace as the primary to increase that huge single target damage? And on top of that, one of the most broken talents in Rise of Kingdoms comes into the play. Fight or flight. This talent in the smite tree is absurd for 1v1 battles. Whenever this commander's troop deals any type of smite damage, all troops hit by the damage lose 45 rage. Number one, this talent doesn't have any sort of minimum damage requirement, so every time you deal smite damage, all troops hit by that will lose 45 rage. And on top of that, it also doesn't have a cooldown, so literally it is every single time. And I think that is exactly why William Wallace was doing wonders in 1v1 testings, but even though rage reduction is incredible for 1v1s, rallies, garrisons, etc. in a massive murder ball situation, which is what happens 99% of the time in KVKs, it is not as impactful as it is in 1v1. So I guess these were the reasons why William Wallace was not performing as well as we all thought he would. But the question is, do you still plan to invest on William Wallace or not? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you on the next one.